I have thoroughly and clearly seen through the world, the shortcomings of Western and Eastern civilizations, the state of life and the confusion of everyone, and the root cause of the suffering of human beings and its effect on everyone. Looking at this magnificent picture of history in the world, I thus understand the limitations and helplessness of Jesus, Shakyamuni, Lao Tzu, Muhammad, and the saints and sages of the past. I also understand the confusion and defects of capitalism and socialism. The most valuable thing is that I understand that the presidents of various countries are not celestial beings, but mortals, and that the philosophers, scientists, professors, experts, artists, celebrities, rich men, and masters that appeared in the world are also in confusion. They are also living their lives in a muddle-headed way. The most interesting thing is to look at the lives of the toiling people, which are pathetic, sad, pitiful, and regrettable. The more stubborn that people are, the more they do not understand the truth and reason. The more stubborn that people are, the more miserable they are. There is another interesting phenomenon. The more people like reasoning with others, the more they do not understand the truth. Fall into a pit of one's own digging seems to be very suitable for people who like reasoning. People who pursue the extraordinary and enjoy being ordinary are very pitiful. People who pursue the extraordinary seem to stand and shout in the wind, a bit like a madman does, while people who indulge in the ordinary are a bit like pigs reared in a pigsty. They just know no other way. Those who truly understand the truth of the world are those who have returned from the extraordinary to the ordinary, and they are the ones who enjoy life. The ordinary that has never been extraordinary is mediocre, and extraordinary that has not returned to the ordinary is impetuous. The plot of the world will never be played out according to any individual subjective will. Presidents cannot do it, sages cannot do it, and the general public cannot do it. That is how the Tao is running. All conditioned dharmas will be in vain like bubbles. Only those who know that it will rain tomorrow and go out with umbrellas are those who know the plot in their hearts. And those who know the plot and give guidance to others are the enlightened masters of the world. As a human, no matter what you say or do, you will attend to one thing and lose another. Life without an ultimate goal is a life of confusion. No matter how great and brilliant one feels, it is a life of clouds, a life of contradictions, and a life of misery, because when death comes, you will feel sad because of fear and helplessness. Without a frame of reference and a reference object as the benchmark of self-improvement and self-refinement, people will be at a loss. All people's words and deeds will be a form of blundering. When the sun comes out, they will be happy for a while, and when the sun goes down, they will be lost for a while, and they cannot achieve long-lasting tranquility, joy, and peace of mind. A truth needs to be revealed, that is, the more one is ordinary and lacks material wealth, the easier it is for him to become celestial. And the more knowledgeable, capable, and materially rich one is, the more difficult it will be for him to become celestial. This is probably also the reflection of the justness and fairness of the universe's balance mechanism. That is, if you have obtained the benefits of this shore, you will no longer have your welfare on the other shore. A tiger cannot grow wings on its back. With the blessings of the world, you can no longer look forward to the happiness of heaven. According to the practice of Life Genuine, what Christ Jesus says is true. Happy are you who are poor. Happy are you who are in need of food now. Happy are you who are weeping now. Those who have become celestials in Life Genuine were all once poor, hungry, and weeping people, while those who are wealthy, full of food, and laughing did not become celestials. It turns out that the greatest creator has been protecting his disadvantaged people. From the laws of the world, people are right no matter what they say and do, and there is no one who is wrong. From the perspective of the law of sublimation of life, people are wrong no matter what they say or do, and there are few people who are right. The chicken soup for the soul is delicious, but it is mostly made of the insight of people with elusive thinking. If you drink too much, you will be drunk and fall into the dust. 与我交往，不要诉说你的烦恼痛苦. When associating with me, do not tell me about your troubles and your pain. Xiefeng, November 18, 2020. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Peter. I follow the philosophy of the Superman. This world should be given to those who work hard without fear of hardships, but are always optimistic and romantic. People who talk about their misfortunes and worries all day long should withdraw from the historical stage of this world. Passive, negative, pessimistic people radiate negative energy, and it is too exhausting to associate with people who are full of negative energy. I do not owe you anything, so why should I bear your misfortune and pain? When surviving and living in this era of the world, which one of us is free from troubles and pains? It is just that the strong bury their worries and pains deeply in their hearts as nourishment and motivation to forge ahead. Only the weak talk about their worries and pains all day long and treat others as their emotional trash cans into which they dump the trash that is in their minds. With people who often tell others about their misfortunes and pains, their energy level is below 200, which is a kind of pathological psychology. Not only can they not live out their own lives, but they will also pollute the spirits and souls of others. As the messenger of the greatest creator, the incarnation of gods, Buddhas, and celestials, I, Xie Feng, came to the world to look for healthy people, not to look for sick people, not referring to physical diseases, but to spiritual diseases, let alone to cure people. I harvest ripe crops. Ripe crops are full and flawless. Do not think that I am here to help people in distress. Some people say Xie Feng is a Ziwei saint. That's only your wishful thinking. I won't do a stupid thing like that. I do not even have enough time to flirt with and seduce my sisters-in-law. So how can I have time to take care of your mess? Do not pretend to be pitiful in front of me so that I can feel pity for you. If you help yourself, I will help you. If you want to destroy yourself, I will help to destroy you. To whoever wants to hang himself, I will secretly prepare a rope for you to hang yourself with, and then you cannot live out a life of sunshine and color. If you want sunshine, I will give you light. If you want darkness, your wish will be fulfilled. In addition, I hope netizens do not give me advice, do not try to point out the right way to me, and do not insult my IQ. I follow the concept of do not offer help if someone does not ask for it. If I didn't ask you, do not help me. Of course, if you think your EQ, IQ, and SQ, spiritual quotient, are higher than mine, then teach me. But once you start teaching me, I'm going to ask you 100,000 questions, and if you cannot answer them, then shut up early in the conversation. Either follow me or go your own way. If you follow me, then do exactly what I say. Xie Feng will never collaborate with anyone, let alone ask anyone to teach me how to walk and how to handle my affairs. Oh people, live out your life of sunshine and colors. In this way, you will benefit endlessly and add a bright splendor to society. That is the correct way of living. 成就别人才能成就自己. You can only fulfill your mission in life by helping others. Xie Feng, December 4th, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. When flour is made into steamed buns, its mission has been accomplished. When the fruit of the tree is ripe, its mission has been accomplished. When people say farewell to the world with no regrets in the end, their missions in their lives have been accomplished. When a person is sublimated into an immortal or Buddha, his mission in life has been accomplished. When a person dies, no matter what his status has been, rich or poor, famous or wise, if he still has concerns, remorse, resentment, regret, nostalgia, and fear, it proves that his mission in life has not yet been accomplished. On the contrary, if his life is fulfilled, his mission has been accomplished. The process of helping others is actually the fulfilling of yourself. The more you help others, the greater your achievements will be. The more a person serves others, the greater his achievements will be. The reason why Jesus and Sakyamuni became God and Buddha is because of the great number of individuals that they served. Of all the services, the number of beneficiaries of formless almsgiving is the widest and most extensive, so those who give formless alms have achieved the most. Whether I, Xie Feng, can achieve my mission in life or not in the end depends entirely on what Chanyuan Celestials can achieve or what they can't. If Chanyuan Celestials achieve much, I will definitely have achieved much. The more Chanyuan Celestials achieve, the greater my achievements will be. If Chanyuan Celestials cannot achieve anything, then Xie Feng is just a bunch of stinky shit, nothing more. So, what I will achieve in life will be by helping Chanyuan Celestials in fulfilling themselves. The recent phenomenon of great freedom, transformation of Lotus, network name, has fully proved this point. To help others is to fulfill themselves. Great freedom, Transformation of Lotus not only forwarded and disseminated a great amount of LifeChanuan content in many WeChat groups, but also wrote articles explaining the values of LifeChanuan and the essence of Xiefeng. By this, she is helping others. As a result, the reputation of Lotus Celestial herself is getting better and better. At least more than 100 Chanyuan Celestials are full of praise for her. Think about it, many people can only receive praise from a few others, while Lotus Celestial has been praised by more than 100 people in a short period of time, which is not a small achievement. If it is not for helping others, how can she receive praise from them? If you do not help others, who will help you? I have been in contact with many people. Take WeChat group netizens as an example. Most of them add me on WeChat just to promote themselves, to absorb the nourishment of others, but they never want to pay even a little. Not to mention forwarding Chanyuan articles, they are not even willing to pay me by clicking a like. It shows how stingy and selfish they are. So how can they make any achievements? Some netizens really have profound wisdom and understand a lot of truths, but they do not understand the truth that they cannot achieve anything themselves unless they help others. As time goes by, they will completely be submerged in the long river of history, and everything they did will have been pointless. From this, we know that the more selfish we are, the less we will accomplish ourselves, and the more selfless we are, the more we will accomplish ourselves. No matter how much and how profound is truth that we have understood, if you do not put it into your own actions, it will only be a fleeting cloud. No one will trust a man who talks a lot without any actions, or if his actions are inconsistent with what he says. In today's world, as far as the group is concerned, Chanyuan Celestials are persons who understand truth the most. Just think about it. After suffering so many devastating blows for over 10 years, Chanyuan Celestials are still full of confidence and are optimistic, romantic, and keep on building new homes, playing and laughing, moving on together happily. Why? This is only because Chanyuan Celestials are all selfless and unselfish people who want to help others and fulfill the cause of LifeChanuan. Chanyuan Celestials only want to give and dedicate, never care about personal gains and losses, and never think of themselves. What is the result? Of course, their lives have all been fulfilled. I said the above just to point out a bright way ahead for those who are predestined. If you want to fulfill yourself, then go all out to help others. Otherwise, everything you do, and you yourself, will come to nothing. 女子如何征服大丈夫? How a woman will conquer a real man. Xiefeng. January 1st, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. We know that a real man does not bully weak women. This is a real man's weakness. As long as you focus on this weakness and exert your strength, you will surely be able to conquer the real man. How do you exert your strength? Being cutesy, acting flirtatiously, showing weakness, showing softness, and being obedient. With these 5 actions, a real man will surely be under your control. When encountering a real man, women must never show rigidity, indulgence, toughness, willfulness, and viciousness. These characteristics cannot subdue a real man, because a real man is rigid inside, and if you use rigidity to control his rigidity, it will lead to conflict and both will get hurt. Only with softness can you overcome firmness. At the same time, in the face of a real man, women must not use words and expressions of grievance, blame, condemnation, and resentment. These characteristics will keep a real man 1,000 miles away, and a real man is free of all passive, negative, and pessimistic emotions. These words are something that a real man is unwilling to accept or bear. Treating a real man in the same way as treating an ordinary man would be extremely inappropriate. If you do not believe me, try it. 人生的又一个奥秘. Another mystery of life. Xiefeng. January 17th, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. Someone was going to build a luxury villa somewhere, the drawings were ready, and the materials were ready. At that time, a geologist came and told him, I can tell you 100% for sure that in 4 years, there will be a big earthquake where you choose to build the villa and then all the buildings will be razed to the ground. Could you tell me, will the owner of the villa continue building it? Someone's child was admitted to a famous university in the United States, and the whole family celebrated. Then a fortune teller came and said, it's better for your child not to go to study in the United States, because in 4 years, on the day of his graduation, he will be involved in a car accident. I would like to ask, will this person still want to send his child to go to the university in the United States? Someone was going to invest 1 million yuan in a real estate business when a stranger came and said, "You'd better stop doing business in real estate. You will make 100 million in the first 10 years, but in the 11th year you will not only go bankrupt, but also be taken to prison and all your property will be confiscated." The question, is he still planning to get into the real estate business? When a person knows exactly that what he is doing will bring him misfortune in the near future, generally speaking, he will stop acting on it. The problem is that when a couple are about to conceive and give birth, they do not need to ask anyone. Everyone knows that the child they give birth to will surely die when he grows up. Even if they know that the child will surely die, people will still give birth to children. Throughout the history of human beings, the vast majority of people's lives will end in tragedy, and their lives will be spent in trouble, pain, anxiety, and sorrow. Even so, people will come to the world and have a try at it. They have all devoted themselves to the hard work and struggle in life with the fluke mentality of, "I will live well." Generation after generation, they have been multiplying like this, which can be described as, in the Changjiang River, the waves behind drive those ahead, and no tears will come when you do not see the coffin. Why are you so irrational? The reason is that people do not know what will happen tomorrow, so they live with hope and anticipation. They can't help themselves but are pushed by their survival instinct and by the tide. There is no other way but to do so. This is the mystery. People enter the world to experience life. The process of life is a process of experience. Apart from this, these people have nothing to gain. Knowing this mystery, we will find that the geologist, the fortune teller, and the stranger mentioned at the beginning of the article did a bad thing. They should not tell the truth to the builder, should not tell the parents what will happen to their kid who will go to school in the United States 4 years later, should not tell the one who is going to become a real estate businessman what will happen in 10 years, because the truth deprives them of the process of experiencing life. Just imagine if you tell a newborn pig, "When you grow up and you will be fattened, people will stab a knife into your heart to kill you and then they will eat you." Can this pig still have a happy and joyous life? It is cruel to tell the truth. It is more in line with human nature and natural law to let people live in a daze. Even if the truth is told, few people are willing to believe it. Sometimes lies are more compassionate than the truth. Live happily. Every day should be a happy day, and life experience is very important. 背西洋面朝阳. Will you go backwards to the sunset or face the rising sun? Xiefeng. November 27, 2022. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. Toward evening, feeling indisposed and listless, I drove my chariot to an ancient elevation. The setting sun looks glorious indeed, only it is so close to dusk. Since it is near dusk, the sun will set, and darkness will consume the earth. The red sun rises in the east with majestic momentum, and the first rays of the sun color the gown of the green mountain. Thousands of miles of mountains and rivers receive their charm from the sun, while the rain and dew lead the literary excellence for the ages. When facing the rising sun, always start the new day full of energy. Throw yourself into the embrace of the rising sun, and your future will be assured. Sunset industries will soon be eliminated. For example, with mobile phone cameras, who will make Kodak cameras and point-and-shoot cameras anymore? Who wants to make ox carts and carriages when there are cars? Who wants to buy a flashlight when you can have a mobile phone? Who wants to buy a city traffic map when you have mobile phone navigation? With the popularity of cars with an automatic transmission, who will make cars with a manual transmission? Who will hire workers on the assembly line since robots are now available? With more powerful social software, who will go to QQ? With 800G mobile phones, who will make 20G mobile phones? Yesterday, a lot of industries disappeared. Today, many enterprises have closed. Tomorrow, many people will lose their jobs. The sunset industry is on the verge of bankruptcy and close and entering the history museum. Do you feel sorry? There is no time for regrets or remorse or no chance to repent or hate. It is worthless and meaningless. When the Qing dynasty replaced the Ming dynasty, those patriots who opposed the Qing dynasty and tried to restore the Ming dynasty became synonymous with reactionary, and their ending was bound to be tragic. With the iPhone 13 Apple mobile phone, Other mobile phones will gradually be eliminated by the mobile phone market. And with the Musk Starlink mobile phone, the iPhone 13 will also enter decline. It is an inevitability of the development of human society and an inevitability of history that old generations will be replaced by new ones, and the waves behind will push forward the waves ahead of them. When we stand on the top of the mountain in the Life-Genuine era and look down at all the activities in the world, we will find that many people's pursuits are blind, and they are desperately chasing the sunset, such as the men and women racking their brains and making real effort to get married and start a family. They are running into the darkness and are both pathetic and pitiful, while the Chanyuan Celestials who have already climbed to the peak will enjoy the beautiful scenery of the mountains and rivers, but they are still worrying and anxious about whether to plant radish or corn on their small piece of land at the foot of the mountain. With the second home model, who wants to save money to buy a house for themselves? Who wants to sharpen their brains and become a civil servant? Who wants to start a business for their own family? Who will engage in making social connections? With the 800 values for new era human beings, who would study law to become a lawyer or judge? Who still racks their brains to become an official? Who wants to be a soldier and die for his country? Who wants to join a political party or a church? In today's world, only Life-Genuine is a sunrise industry, which is breaking through the horizon and preparing to rise to illuminate the mountains and rivers, while all other activities are sunset industries. In the near future, entering the second home will be the equivalent to owning one of Musk's Starlink mobile phones, with all its powerful functions, and the rest will be like flashlights, cameras, calculators, televisions, newspapers, magazines, ox carts, and carriages, all of which will disappear on the horizon of the setting sun. Those who engage in sunset industries are wasting their time and energy and are working diligently in vain. Those who enter Life-Genuine are creating a sunrise industry. Although in the beginning it will be difficult, they will definitely develop with vigor and their futures will be bright. 理想人生全景文解 The Panoramic Interpretation of an Ideal Life. Xiefeng. April 2nd, 2022. Translated by Qinyu. Edited by Peter. From birth to death, what is the best way to live one's life? Birth, 3 years old. Being accompanied by the mother, since having a mother's company is the safest, warmest, and most comfortable life during infancy. 4 to 6 years old, being accompanied by friends of the same age to live a collective life, supplemented by the guidance of a caring aunt. The whole process is mainly about games and entertainment. 7 to 12 years old, eating together, living together, and going to school together with friends of the same age, learning the knowledge of life, the relationship between man and nature, and properly participating in the labor of all aspects of life, cultivating the ability to live independently, being taught by teachers. There should be more female teachers than male teachers. 13 to 18 years old, should keep on living a collective life, mainly learning science skills, along with music, dance, art, and gymnastics, etc., supplemented by the physiology of puberty and the knowledge of health. Allow them to fall in love freely. Those who are tall and mature early are encouraged to try to have sex. Let them be full of longing for life, full of reverence for life, and full of enthusiasm for life. During this period, they should be guided at least by sage-level adults, preferably celestial guides, and there should be more male than female. It is strictly forbidden for an ignorant person, the laity, and mortals to enter the sphere of adolescent children's lives. 19 to 22 years old, living in a semi-collective life, eating together, but no longer living together. They should carry out high-intensity training in groups according to their different hobbies and specialties, reading extensively, practicing a lot, letting their intelligence explode, and letting them solve all the problems that arise in their lives. Let them understand and master all the historical knowledge and the scientific frontier of knowledge accumulated by human beings. Encourage adventure, uniqueness, completely let go of their sex lives. Let them fully experience the beauty of sex. 23 to 28 years old, this is a period of burning passion, a period full of vitality and creativity. Education and guidance should be stopped to allow everyone to create and live according to their love, giving them maximum freedom to do what they want. Don't interfere with them, don't preach morals, just let their nature fully bloom. During this period, each person should have at least 1 or 2 children. 29 to 46 years old, are ripe peaches, the most vigorous time, the most creative season. They should maximize the creation of material wealth and spiritual wealth in their respective positions and fields and create the living environment they want the most. 47 to 60 years old, having accumulated a wealth of life experience, tasted the ups and downs of life. This is the stage of transcendence and the sublimation of life. To fully create spiritual wealth and soul wealth, to become a teacher for children and a role model for young people, to create the most ideal humanistic environment. 61 to 70 years old, mature and fruitful years. They should live like saints, with a benevolent and kind countenance, being calm and steady, like Mount Tai. Beloved by children, consulted by young people, respected by middle-aged people. They are the ballast stone in collective life, the lights in the night. 70 to 120 years old, living a leisurely life, enjoying their carefree and happy old age. The 8 crises of life. There is no maternal love in infancy, a childhood without playmates and a lack of play. There is no education in the knowledge of life in a juvenile. There is no school and sweet love in adolescence. Having no faith and only rushing about and working for food, clothing, housing, and transportation at a young age. In middle age, being tortured by family conflicts and suppressed by the anxiety of survival. In elderly age, being afflicted with illness and having no one around to take care of them. In old age, living a lonely life and being unaccompanied till death. The above 8 major crises in life are perfectly eliminated and resolved in the second home of Life Genuine. Therefore, the production and living mode of the second home is the most ideal way of life for human beings. 包容 equals 纵容. Tolerance equals complicity. 协平. January 21, 2021. Translated by Chinyu, edited by Peter. There is a kind of tolerance that is tantamount to complicity. I am here to talk specifically about this kind of tolerance. I left 3 WeChat groups yesterday. The reason for my leaving was the uncivilized language in those 3 groups. In 2 of these groups, a person named Lunatic Wong is always saying "fuck your mother" and using other vulgar and crude words. Barbarians like him and many people not only praise him for his knowledge and wisdom, but also tolerate him as well. Feeling helpless and unable to bear the foul atmosphere in the group, I left. The reason why Lunatic Wong used swear words unscrupulously was because he found that people would tolerate his barbaric behavior. So, he feigned madness and acted like an idiot, acted irrationally, and cursed heaven and anyone he could. The language he used is so nasty, vulgar, filthy, and dirty that no one in the past and no one in the future will be able to surpass him. Other people tolerate this despicable and shameless person and are even singing praises for him. This is the pure acceptance of evil. As a spiritual practitioner, I cannot connive with evil to such a degree or even associate with him, speak with him on the same stage, which shows how far the world of spiritual cultivation has fallen. When evil occupies the platform of discourse and morals degenerate to their extremities, no one should blame others. We should blame ourselves for being too tolerant of falsehoods, evil, and ugliness. This tolerance is complicity, and it is when we are compliant of ugly deeds and ugly words by each of us that it leads to the indecencies that are swaggering through the streets and running rampant. Tolerance refers to the non-interference of personality differences under the same attribute. For example, various flowers have the same attribute. Under the same attribute, peonies need to tolerate thorny roses, chrysanthemums need to tolerate winter plums that bloom in cold weather, and bougainvillea that blooms all year round need to tolerate epiphyllum, whose flowering period is only a few hours. Another example is that truth, kindness, beauty, love, faith, sincerity, peace, and harmony should mutually tolerate each other, because they are all the same attributes. When things are completely different in nature, they cannot tolerate each other. Here tolerance equals complicity. Truth, goodness, and beauty cannot tolerate falsehoods, evil, and ugliness. The sun cannot tolerate darkness, fire cannot tolerate water, and a beautiful environment cannot tolerate garbage. Imagine that there are 8 dishes on the dinner table, and someone brings a plate of feces. May I ask, will you tolerate it? The Chinese nation regards bearing shame and humiliation as a positive virtue. This kind of value is problematic. The cultivated world praises tolerance highly, to show that they have broad minds and noble feelings. How hypocritical this is. Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism all emphasize tolerance. So Chinese people are particularly tolerant, but it is precisely because everyone can tolerate that the Chinese characteristic of tolerance has been formed. This tolerance for humiliation makes people feel angry, but they do not speak and dare not stop and resist in their behavior, and all take the gentleman style of, if you are patient in one moment of anger, you will escape 100 days of sorrow. In the long run, people will live awkwardly, but they have nowhere to vent. In the end, they can only swallow their anger and comfort themselves with having a tolerant mentality. In China, the phenomenon of queue jumping occurs often because the Chinese are good at tolerance. I lived in Zimbabwe for more than 10 years. The commercial, industrial, and living areas of this country are completely separated. Office workers who work in the city during the day need to take the shuttle bus to go home after work. Every day, there are many people waiting in line for the bus, but queue jumping rarely occurs there. Why? Because people are not tolerant of line jumpers, so it is impossible to cut into a line. Once, I was queuing up at a place to pay electricity and water bills. Suddenly, a black guy walked to the window without queuing up. Several old white ladies in the back immediately protested. They not only yelled, but an old lady also even stepped forward and dragged the black guy to the back of the line. They just would not tolerate the behavior of queue jumping. Just because everyone was not tolerant, so an overall good sense of order was achieved. A Canadian mayor slapped his subordinate, and this subordinate called the police. The police rushed to the spot and took the mayor to the police station in handcuffs. That night, the mayor was detained in a cell with no windows, no bed, no bedding, and no urinal. When he wanted to go to the toilet, he would knock on the door and make a report. At 9 o'clock the next morning, the police handcuffed him again, added anklets, stuffed him into an armored prison car, and he went straight to the local court. The judge sentenced him to go to the hospital for a psychiatric evaluation to see if he had any mental problems that had caused the violence and sentenced him not associate with this subordinate whom he had beaten at any time. If he encounters this subordinate by chance, he must immediately and unconditionally maintain a distance of more than 200 meters from him. Any violation, it will be treated as the crime of contempt of court. After returning home, the mayor had to resign. 3 months later, the court's final decision was, 1. He is not allowed to carry knives or guns or ammunition with him for the rest of his life. 2. For the period of 1 year, he needs to report his situation to the Community Crime Prevention Agency every month, and he must ask the Community Crime Prevention Agency for leave and report back after a leave of absence when he leaves his residence to do business and then returns to his residence. It can be said that Chinese people will tolerate the mayor slapping a subordinate in the face, and even if a ruffian beats somebody up, Chinese people generally will tolerate it. It's mainly because of this tolerance that the offender can act boldly and arbitrarily. This is all caused by tolerance. This kind of irrational and no bottom-line connivance-style tolerance can be seen everywhere. In the family, when the children are unhappy, they lie on the ground and cry. Grandparents and parents not only fail to instruct them in time, but also coax them. Some students in the school will bully other students, and teachers and principals are also tolerant of this. More cases are between husbands and wives, who often have trouble with each other, but then they tolerate each other. Most of the WeChat groups on the internet are tolerant of those who speak rudely and humiliate others. Over time, the whole society becomes tolerant, so crimes are rampant. In the new oasis for life created by Life Genuine, why do people behave in a noble way, and why is everything in order? The reason is that we never tolerate bad words and deeds. Not only do we not tolerate fighting and swearing, but we also never tolerate the behaviors of boozing, whoring, gambling, and smoking, and we even never tolerate the behavior of the wasting of food and property. No one can leave any food in the rice bowl after eating. Not just leaving food behind, but even leaving a few grains of rice in the bowl is not allowed. Anyone who dares to throw trash down casually can try it. Anyone who dares to sexually harass women can try it. Anyone who dares to hide public goods privately can try it. Anyone who dares to peep into the privacy of others can try it. Anyone who dares to take indolence and covet enjoyment can try it. If one recommits this act after being warned, he will be expelled from the home. Someone taught me and said, You need to be more tolerant and accept everything, I answered immediately. I am not a trash can or a trash pit. How can I tolerate and accept everything? Some people call those creatures that talk filthily and often say, fuck your mother, as superior and master. Their values are reversed to such a degree. No wonder that these superiors and masters have sprung up like mushrooms in the land of China. 分工负责的价值和意义. The value and significance of division of labor. Xiefeng, January 30th, 2023. Edited by Qin Yu. First, let's look at these equations. Which equation do you think has the greatest power? 1 plus 1 equals 0, 1 plus 1 equals 11, plus 1 equals 21, plus 1 equals 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me explain. 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. When two people live together without division of labor, regardless of the size of tasks, they work together and are busy all day without time for leisure or study. Due to differences in personality and views, they criticize, nitpick, and attack each other, wasting their time and energy on pointless arguments. They end up achieving nothing, and their life accomplishments equal 0. 1 plus 1 is equal to 1. When two people live together and work on tasks without internal conflict, their results equal what one person could accomplish alone. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Two people living together, each doing their own thing, without interfering with each other, results in the achievement of two people. 1 plus 1 is equal to 3. Two people living together, dividing responsibilities, cooperating seamlessly, and working together on specific tasks, results in the achievement of 3 people. 1 plus 1 is equal to 9. Two people living together, with clear division of all tasks, sharing common goals, and no internal conflicts, results in the achievement of what would normally take 9 people to accomplish. The above is a theoretical analysis, but what is the actual situation like? Please carefully consider how your own living situation with others is like, especially the achievements of 2 people living together as a couple. What I want to tell everyone is that based on my analysis and practical experience, whether it is 2 people, 3 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, or even all the people on Earth living together, the greatest achievement comes from dividing tasks and responsibilities. If tasks are not clearly defined and everyone wants to meddle in everything, or if you are building airplanes, I am also building airplanes, and he is also building airplanes, it will not only waste resources and human effort, but also create competition. The result of competition can be lower costs, increased efficiency, and better quality, but it will also lead to enormous waste of resources and moral degradation, which is not worth it. By playing to each person's strengths, refining tasks, sharing common goals, and cooperating seamlessly without interference, this kind of team, whether it is a team of 2, 8, or 10,000 people, can achieve results that are multiples of what individuals can achieve. This approach does not waste resources nor create tensions between individuals, because there is no internal friction or competition. From a couple to various countries around the world, if we follow the theory of dividing tasks and responsibilities, humanity will enter a golden age where there will be no more wars, waste of Earth's resources will be eliminated, and social turmoil will be eradicated. Border controls between countries will no longer be necessary, and we will enter a harmonious era of global integration. Of course, to achieve the above ideal, it seems that only the Life-Genuine values and the second home model can bear such a heavy responsibility at present. 请看看你是不是你自己. Please take a look and see if you are yourself. Xiefeng, October 5th, 2020. Edited by Qin Yu. If we have interacted with many people, we will find that people change and are unpredictable. We cannot figure out what kind of person they really are. There is a saying that human hearts are hard to fathom. Even after decades of being together, we may still find the other person to be a stranger, causing us to feel lost in life. At this time, when we feel that others are difficult to fathom, we need to have a self-recognition. Who am I really? Am I myself? Am I also a fickle and unpredictable person? It is not difficult to know oneself, and we can reason it out this way. You see a peach tree with ripe peaches hanging from its branches. You pick one, take a bite, and feel the sweetness and fragrance in your mouth. You like it from the bottom of your heart and believe that this peach is a fairy peach. However, someone comes over, and tells you that this peach is a demonic peach, which will turn people into demons when eaten. Later, someone else says that this peach is a desire peach, which will generate desires in people. Desires are like the chains that drag people down to hell. The question is, what will you do now? Will you continue to eat or stop eating from now on? If you follow your own feelings and continue to eat, then you are yourself. If you listen to the evaluations of others and stop eating, then you are not yourself. You are just a puppet, possessed by the consciousness of others. Have you ever experienced the taste of sexual